Now, many of you already know that NEO for the month of August, they delivered just over 19,300, which was, of course, 5% lower than the deliveries they reported in July. Now, these, of course, were good deliveries, regardless of them falling short from the, of course, July deliveries, because these are the second best deliveries that NEO has ever produced ever since their existence. Now, with the NEV insurance registrations that we got on Tuesday, most of you already know that NEO reported 5,000 NEV insurance registrations, which in actual fact they were 5,086 NEV insurance registrations, which is something that was, of course, was amazing. Now, you will know that this past week the NEV insurance registrations that got catered to the August deliveries were the registrations of Monday until Thursday. Friday and Saturday did not form part of the deliveries that NEO reported on Friday, as they now are falling into the new month, and that is the September month. Now, this 5,086 which NEO had, ladies and gents, it was a new record, because NEO had never, of course, delivered NEV insurance registrations that were over 4,800. They had never done that, of which to get to see that 5,086 NEV insurance registration was pretty good, right? And this is something that towards the end of the month we usually see, of course, big numbers coming from the NEV insurance registrations, which is why I believe that this coming week on Tuesday we are to get a similar number, probably to the 5,000 we got, as we always tend to see, of course, NEV insurance registration figures becoming more towards the end of the month. Now, something very interesting about both the NEV insurance registrations and deliveries, or the monthly deliveries, that is the August deliveries we got on Friday, is that if you had to check the entire pure electric vehicle market, ladies and gents, when you look into, of course, the monthly deliveries, and that is the deliveries when you produce over 19,300, NEO it's in the top 4, ladies and gents. I know that as seen on the screen, this pic is showing that NEO was in the top 3, but in actual fact Tesla numbers were still, of course, to be factored in, which we know that Tesla, I think they came second to BYD. So NEO is actually in the top 4 of the pure electric vehicle market in China, which is something that is quite incredible, I think, even globally, because you know that China obviously is currently leading when it comes to this, of course, electric vehicle. So to get to see a vehicle or EV maker like NEO being in the top 4 makes me to be really excited, because the only companies that are on top of NEO when you look into the pure electric vehicle market is Aeon, BYD and Tesla, which I do think that in the long term NEO it's definitely going to continue climbing the ladder and be probably in the top 2, because BYD, one of the things that you have to know about them is that they are selling a lot of cars on a month to month. I mean, their NEV sales for the month of August were over 145,000, which is something that must just show you the kind of vehicles that BYD is selling when comparing to NEO. But the difference between BYD and NEO, of course, is that BYD or NEO rather, they are selling premium electric vehicles, whereas BYD, they are just selling standard EVs. That is the big difference between BYD and NEO. But nonetheless, when you look into the numbers, BYD is, of course, leading when you look into the figures or into the numbers, which is something that is quite, of course, good for them. And I think that NEO, as time goes on, I don't know if they'll be able to catch up, but I think they will grow and grow, and there will be that time that we'll see NEO, of course, I personally believe, generating this kind of sales. When we look into a NEO brand together with the sub brands, I think NEO, there will be a point in time where they will get to this, of course, in the long term. Now, when you look into the NEV insurance registrations, or the 5,086 NEV insurance registrations which NEO got for last week, or for 2 weeks back, we got to see that 5,086 car put NEO in the 5th position when we look into the NEV insurance registrations. And again, I think I just have to stress the point that some of the people might be asking, why is Li Auto not, of course, on both these lists? Well, it's because Li Auto doesn't sell pure electric vehicles, but rather they sell hybrids. So it's part of the car, it's gas car, and another part is electric car, which is why they are not factored onto this list. But of course, on the NEV or in the NEV insurance registrations, they are usually factored in. So both these 2 lists are only looking to on pure electric vehicle or in the pure electric vehicle market, which is why we are seeing Li Auto not forming part of this list. So when we look into the NEV insurance registrations for pure electric vehicles, NIO is currently sitting at number 5, which is seen on the screen, which I personally believe that it is quite good. And like I said, I'm hoping that NIO continues climbing the ladder and becoming probably in the top 3, or finding themselves in the top 3 or even the top 2 in the long term, and replace or knock off Tesla, which I think it is very much possible looking at the kind of developments that we see surrounding NIO. I mean, NIO in 2024, or before 2024 ends, you will know that they will be selling, or not only be selling their NIO cars, but they will also be selling a sub-brand, namely Alps, which is going to be between 200 and 300,000 RMB, which NIO CEO during Q2 earnings indicated that it will be quite a competitive model, which is something that, or a competitive brand, which is something that makes me to be really excited, because chances are it will come and support battery swapping station. It will, of course, be having the technology, or most of the technology that you find onto the NIO cars, though it will be a bit cheaper than NIO. So I'm very excited about this, and these are some of the developments or some of the news that makes me to want to invest for a longer term onto NIO. Now, Alps, you know that it's not the only sub-brand that NIO plans to launch or deploy or sell or produce, but there is a Firefly sub-brand, which that is supposed to range between 100 and 200,000 RMB, which, ladies and gents, even once they launch that, it is just bullish. These are some of the news that are just bullish for NIO, because we know they are going to, chances are very high that they are going to steal a very big portion, or they are going to hold a very big portion into the EV market, which is something that makes me to be really excited about NIO's future. So I just thought I'd just give you this quick updates to say that when we look into the monthly deliveries, NIO was or came at the top 4, whereas when we look into the NEV insurance registration, NIO came out on the 5th position, which is something that I think, looking at the kind of deliveries that NIO is reporting on a month to month, makes me to be really excited and makes me to be hopeful that NIO in the near future, they will do very well. I think share price wise, it is only a matter of time before the market realize that they have to price in the big deliveries that NIO is currently producing on a month to month. Otherwise, with all that, guys, I just thought I'd just give you this quick updates. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. And once you subscribe, don't forget to hit or click that notification bell, that at least to get notified by YouTube every time I drop a new content. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey. And before you buy NIO for the very first time, please do make sure that you do your own due diligence, so that at least you can be comfortable as you are investing onto this stock. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey. And God bless you all.